All right, I can't believe last session of the day. Excited to be here. Let's end the day strong. Also, show some love for our sponsors before we go. And also make sure to join us tomorrow for Community Days, where you can really get the community feel. It's like an unconference and you can learn a lot. So really excited to have these next three experts joining us to wrap up this whole event. So any question you have about Robot Framework, they can answer. We have some high-level questions or topics we'll focus in on, but really I want this to be more of a you ask them what you want to know. But all right, guys, I see you all live. Pekka keeps moving. He's freaking me out, but we should be good to go. Let's pull them all in. Hey, guys, welcome to RoboCon.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Joe. Hi.
Good to have you all. Awesome. So I always just wonder what your key takeaway was from this year, both on-site and online. Have you seen any themes you felt or key takeaways you got a lot from? Let's start with you, Pekka. You're muted.
Well, then we start with you, David.
Oh, perfect. I would say that for me, it was definitely, again, the community. And in Helsinki and also in this online conference, the community is so good. So many interesting topics that we had, both on site and both today and yesterday. So that's always for me the goal line, to meet people, to have a chance to discuss interesting topics, and maybe a little bit promote our ideas as well.
Awesome. René, Pekka, I'm going to send you a new code. For some reason, I think that's a wonky code. It's the same one Tattoo had. So go ahead, René. And Pekka, keep your eye on your email or Slack. I'll send it to you in Slack.
Good. Then I can just repeat what I already kind of visionized in the YouTube video that we had before the conference. I really enjoyed that whole community. The talking with people you have never met. Again, here I really like to be in Gathertown. Even the whole night, like sitting there in the speakers corner or in beer talking with the people and just meeting new people. And I think this is what this conference is about. And I got really good talks. I definitely have some of my rewatch list and pause list in between because there's so much stuff happening. I really like that we have them directly available. But still here, the community, I'm every time overwhelmed when I'm working with the Robot Framework community because it's such a nice and friendly, helpful community. And you just start talking with people from all over the world. That's my RoboCon summary.
Awesome. So I know one of the key things I heard, people seem a little nervous. Don't worry. Let me get rid of this for a second. But Pekka will be joining us in a moment.
That was not Pekka.
No, that's Jerry using the same code. Is the Robocorp leaving? Any thoughts on that? How does that impact? Should people be worried? Is this just something, just things change over the years and it's just one of those things?
Yeah, I mean that's just what stuff happens. So like I had a best friend in my first grade school, and I'm not seeing him anymore. That's just life. So, and same with Robocorp. Robocorp was a fellow companion over many years. They like the founders of Robocorp were all early there in Robot Framework, and it's absolutely normal that companies change their opinion, and that just shows again how super important this Robot Framework Foundation concept is. And we are again talking with another open source tool where a company is begging that tool that they start to copy or want to copy the Robot Framework Foundation concept because they just see that it's working, that they say, okay, so we can give this tool to the community and we have a lot of users of that tool, but we don't want to spend a lot of money maintaining that open source tool. So maybe the user companies can join and can group together, maybe first under the lead of that company. But so closing that bracket to the Robocorp, they did a lot for the community, and they are leaving now, which is barely impacting the overall tool. Of course, they have some open source libraries there that are heavily used. And the good thing is they are open source. And we have this Market Square platform where, so github.com/Market Square, where we have community project. And also that happens all the time. Like the request library was super heavily used but abandoned. And then someone else took over. We have the database library. Like Andrei Machinin he was on the Helsinki talk, hilarious talk, grand opening. You must see that one. At least the first 5 minutes is the best talk ever. And so he also took just over another person's project, and that happens all the time. And that's a great thing with open source, and that will also happen with the Robocorp tools. And so we, as a foundation, as a board of the foundation, there's absolutely no bad feelings at all. We wish them any luck they get, and really hope they have a good and successful road. And typically you see twice in a life, so maybe we see them back.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any thoughts on it, Pekka or David?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. So, yeah, there was a before I left, there was a question that we were asking that key insight from the conference, and I guess it's the same for me as pretty much every time. I'm so amazed about both the community and the ecosystem. Of course, there cannot be the ecosystem really in our case without the community. So I think they're both awesome. But the community, there's been a lot of community talks both on site and online, or some about community in general, how to contribute to open source, stuff like this. Those been really, really good talks. Also, then the new tools in the ecosystem, and also I guess that's kind of a new thing now. That was René was talking this. Old tools with new maintainers, and that's awesome to see how this open source stuff is working. That okay, there's tools that they may have been not maintained for some time, but people still find them useful, and somehow we find new maintenance for them and so on. And that's really, really good. And also, of course, something also that I hope the foundation can help more and more. We have the ecosystem founding rounds and so on. So we hopefully can help, but the foundation is kind of a small part of the whole thing. The ecosystem with all the maintainers and so on is much bigger than the foundation. So yeah.
And this is kind of a new thing, like you said, this whole taking over other project. It happened here and there, but now it's more organized. And great thanks to going to Ed Manlove, who initiated this Market Square thing, and is really like also searching for abandoned projects and contacting them, the old maintainers and so on, and like making this actually a little bit more actively to support these revitalization of these projects.
Nice. So along these lines,
Market Square is an awesome initiative by Ed. Started already some time ago, but it's also very good to give this new project people are now launching, that to give those maintainers or creators an idea that they don't need to be involved with that forever. So it's okay that if you launch something and create something, you don't need to be something that, okay, if you launch it and then you need to be somehow married it for forever. It's okay that you did it, and then if people find it useful, you can, if you put it on Market Square, then if people are finding it useful, they'll continue with it and so on. So that's also very helpful for the current maintainers. Think that okay, this is they are not responsible for it forever.
Yeah.
So I guess along those lines, someone asked a question. I think you mentioned this. Are there any plans to take over the tasks of Robocorp? Sounds like there is, but is there like
so
steps?
Yeah, we are in discussions. There has been already before they have publicly announced this step that they are just doing security patches for their stuff, but no feature development for their open source stuff. There were already discussions happening because they quitted the foundation already half a year ago or something like this, or like 5 months ago. So we knew that there's something happening, and they're actively searching for maintainers. Of course, there is a step before, because they have to kind of dissect these elements out. They want to give to the community, and they have other parts that they will still use because they still will do automation, but with Python. So, for example, the technology where the Windows library is based on, they will still maintain, but as a Python only or pure Python package without taking care of robot framework specialties or so. And same with the language server. They have one monorepo with a lot of stuff that has to be splitted up. But they are in discussion with us. We are helping to find new maintainers for that, or new ways of revitalization this project.
Yeah, I'm positive that all the used parts will be available in the future. They have this huge RPA framework, which is basically a single library that contains many different libraries, and it might be easier for the community to maintain those individual libraries separately, because for example embeds both browser and Selenium and that kind of something that may not be so useful for us. But of course, if somebody from the community is interested in maintain that, we have nothing against it. But I see, and I think René agrees with me, that it might be better to split the individual libraries that are useful from there and maintain them separately. But
but if anyone is willing to maintain those, or say, hey, I have an interest to maintain those, just contact us. Write to board@robotframework.org or contact @Menlove or so, and just throw in this information. It's always good to know.
Yeah, you can chat it at Gather later today or tomorrow at Open Space, or then just contact on Slack.
All right, so weird segue, loosely connected. And if you go to Robocorp, they just announced they just joined. Like a Semaphore.ai.
Yeah, Semaphore AI is basically the company that they founded to buy themselves. So,
okay, cool. It's just a back way for me to get into AI. So, like, AI's been all the rage, and obviously they're on this rage. So, David, any strong feelings about AI? How any plans to incorporate AI into anything you're doing, or even maybe Robot Framework itself?
I would say there are big plans, and we are already starting with some. One being that we are founding a Robot Framework AI library. So we want to have for our QAs, for our Robot Framework users, we want to have the option to integrate with AI, and not just the ChatGPT version that that is out there, but also all those open source models that are available. So we are actually starting the work right now. We have 2 interns that will be working on the basis, but this library will be fully open source. It will be on GitHub from the start. So we will be doing also like the project general like development directly in GitHub. So anybody interested in AI, anybody who wants to contribute, you are welcome to join us. You are welcome to share your ideas, how you think the AI could be used. But personally, I'm using the AI for last year. I'm using it for like my day-to-day business, like writing emails, making sure that it has proper business English and etc. But also for all that testing and doing maintenance, because there's so many options now with the AI. It understands context pretty well. You can share whole files, and this can be like export the database, HTML of a page with all those, and ask the AI how to find the locators. So I feel like the AI is really on the rise. I think we have pretty good projects that will be out there for the community as well. So definitely, I would say this would be the year for AI and Robot Framework.
Well,
just
awesome.
one very short addition.
Yeah,
I think when David said we, it is David and his company in that case are not the Robot Framework Foundation, but of course the Robot Framework Foundation also supports that. But it's not like Foundation is now doing with Foundation money the AI library. That is so Continero is luckily spending money on doing open AI and AI stuff in general. Yeah,
that's correct. But me being also the Robot Framework board member, I also wanted the community to grow. And before actually the conference, I was like, so are there any AI talks? And I think I was speaking with Mika, and he was like, no, there is nothing. So I was like, yeah, we need to get it out there. We need to start thinking about this stuff.
A lot of the AI is paid. Is that one of the reasons why we're not seeing it as part of open source? Because it usually relies on a language model and then, has to be charged for time spent.
I would say the biggest voice is the security issue, and that's why QA people and basically developers are not using the AI much, because companies are afraid about losing the data, about sharing the data with other companies like OpenAI, Google, or others. We saw it with GitHub Copilot. Well, we might heard about what happened with private repositories, but who knows what really happened. So really, the security is an issue. But there are many open source models already out there. You can build your own AI. You can run it on your notebook. You can run it on your server, and then nobody has access. So we are trying to also utilize these models that are out there. And there are big companies like, for example, Meta, really pushing into the whole open source for AI models.
Yeah, with robot, it's good thing is that, well, interesting with AI is that I don't think the core itself needs really AI features, but what's important is that we have a lot of APIs and you can use AI with robot in many, many different ways. So you could use AI to generate robot framework test cases. Then, of course, the framework doesn't really care how they have been created. Did someone created them by hand, or was it some AI model? Listener version 3 just got in Robot Framework 7 new enhancements that makes it possible to make all kind of interesting and even crazy modification to test or task on the fly. So you could, of course, attach AI to that. And then we can have libraries like David was mentioning and so on. So a lot of different kind of interfaces where you can attach AI in different ways. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of new tooling around that in the ecosystem going forward.
And I would actually add also like to doing a back loop to the Robocorp thing. One thing that I do not understand, and I think this is something where Robot Framework could really benefit from, is these LLMs do understand language. They are pretty good in interpreting language and putting language into context. Also understanding if there is a technical information or business information in there. And because of the simplicity of Robot Framework syntax, I think Robot Framework itself and editors with Robot Framework can pretty good incorporate with AI tools that do generate syntax, that do propose maybe keyword names or so. Like you're just selecting some text snippets, some keywords, and then you maybe have the refactoring AI in VS Code that says, okay, let's make a keyword out of there. Here you're setting a username and a password and clicking a login button. So let's make a login user keyword out of that. I think this is much easier for these engines compared to some complex Python stuff or Java or so on. And therefore, I just think also that AI could be a really like accelerator for Robot Framework itself as well.
Yeah, and most libraries you see for AI are built with Python, so it looks like Robot Framework is, it would easily integrate with it, and that's what I like about Robot Framework. Maybe on the outside looking in, it's more of like a platform where it's extensible and it's not going to be like replaced by AI. It's just going to incorporate AI or sit on top of AI at some point.
Absolutely, and if you think like how many open source test automation tools and so on, show me one that has so many APIs and interactive possibilities. Like you can interact with the core, you can generate your test cases, you can manipulate the test case on the fly, like the model-based testing one. Yeah, you're just doing what's completely freaking different then in the end. And I think there are barely tools out there that are so versatile and maybe even misusable, but that's also flexibility, right?
Absolutely. All right, so a little more info, some more questions. I don't know if this is true, but recently Robot Framework is using more and more code principles, vars, syntax, etc., drifting away for keyword-driven focus. Is this the intended direction?
it just has basically turned out that in some cases this keyword-driven approach doesn't really work well. We realized that fairly early on that loops, for example, aren't very nice to construct with keywords, and that's why Robot Framework has forever basically had for loops. And then since Robot Framework 4 got if structures, and then later also try and while and so on. So those are just more natural to implement using kind of programmatic syntax. We have had similar functionality implemented using keywords, but in some cases, native syntax is easier. That's also one of the benefits there is that this native syntax is then understood by Robot Framework's parser that is also usable by external tools like editor plugins. So editor plugins can also know that, okay, this is special syntax and they know how to handle it. Because whenever there's basically a keyword call, you actually don't know what keyword is going to be called until it's actually executed, because it's kind of dynamic how it's selected. So you can import different libraries, and then IDs cannot really be assured that what is going to happen when there's a keyword call. Whereas when there's this syntax, they know that, okay, this is a for loop and so on. So we realize in some cases, this kind of syntax is needed, different syntax is needed. We aren't going to add too much new syntax like that. But if there are use cases for something more, maybe we can add it. Something like match statement in Python for different kind of matches could be useful. We have various keywords for that, but I don't know, could be done. But we don't have any concrete plans for any new syntax. This var syntax lately was that we had this creating local variables was just kind of a mess. There were two different kind of keywords for that, working differently, and there was all the confusion. So now with this kind of unifies it and is easier to understand and easier to use, and also of course better for editors.
And to that question, I would add. I mean, it's saying drifting away from the keyword-driven focus. I would actually say we are teaching keyword-driven some more tricks. I'm doing keyword-driven for many years, even before Robot Framework, also in big automotive project and so on with thousands of tests. And one issue that you have is like the pure linearity. So you're just having a sequence of calls, and you have no flow control there. And with the features that we have with if else, with try catch, and also now the var syntax, we're introducing tools that you may use that gives you the possibility to not necessarily go into the Python code if you don't want to. So you still can have linter rules, Robocorp, like prohibiting if else, while loops, for loops on test case level, for example. And it'd say, hey, don't do that shit on this high level, yeah, because here you have to define some business logic. Don't do variable assignment even. And so I wouldn't say we are drifting away from keyword driven. We are well aware that we have here a tool that is a test or a specification tool, not a test specification, but it's a specification language. It's not meant as a programming language, so you should not program complex logic in Robot Framework. That's not what we're intending to do.
It's almost like behavior-driven development, using it for communication, and then the side benefit is automation, almost.
Yeah.
Excellent. So people keep asking about the foundation or the Robot Framework Foundation. I'm just curious to know, where do you see the future of the Robot Framework Foundation? And also, someone wants to know how they can convince their manager to join the framework.
I mean, it's always this question of arguments. Why should we go there? So what do I get when I join the foundation? So my honest answer is really like, hey, you get all of that already. Now it's your turn. So you got a free tool, you got a well-tested, well-developed tool, you get an awesome ecosystem that we are supporting. So maybe it's now your turn to do a move. But I mean, the actual process is super simple. Like just fill a Google form and you will get an invoice from us after it's voted that you will join, and then you are in and you can pay yearly bills. But the question is, I think, more about the benefits. And I think the benefits is the exchange, the possibility to also discuss topics closely with Pekka, like being influenced, being involved in roadmap discussions. Does not really mean that you have a real power to decide where Robot Framework goes, but it's just the involvement is higher. And maybe as part of that, because today someone asked me about like, okay, how do you see the future and more developers working on the core and so on? That was also something that Mika started in the very beginning of the conference. I think more developers for core is generally a good idea. But it's also not nothing that we want to like grow forever. I don't think that the core needs 5 or 6 core developers working full time on that. But what I really would like to see is that the Robot Framework Foundation takes over responsibility of the ecosystem. And exactly that point, what we discussed with the talk with Tato I had today, like founding all these open source contributors, like giving something back to the community, is for me personally way more important than really like accelerating more and more features in the core, because at some point you also are saturated with new features. You can do maintenance, and that is definitely something that we want to do. We want to fund 2-3 developers full time if possible, but we also want to give something back to the ecosystems. And I think it should be from the point where we are with this ecosystem funding, it should be a constant growth. So like put 2 euros on the core and 1 euro in the ecosystem, something like this all the time.
And I would
I agree with
to that. Yeah, go ahead, Pekka.
Yeah, so I agree with René that we definitely want as a foundation to more and more help the ecosystem, and it doesn't make sense to try to get the core team too big. Having more people somehow involved, knowing it well, would be good for future maintenance and in case of bus factors and stuff like this. But one thing that I was read this question that how I can get my manager to join. Well, I guess that's also something. If you as a community have ideas what the foundation could give to foundation members, then we are of course very eager to hear, because that's been always kind of a problem, that what can we give other than the, well, you can use this tool which you can use anyway. We are giving discounted conference tickets and so on, but of course we cannot give like too many conference tickets, because then it's cheaper to join the foundation than buy those tickets. That doesn't really make sense. And there's also even kind of legal things that if companies are paying a membership fee, we cannot give directly the equal amount of work back, for example, because then that would be actually contracting and not membership fee and anything. So, but if you have ideas what to do, would you benefit from having a more direct access to the board, or maybe discussing with me, like something like this? Those are all of course possibilities, and we'd like to hear about them. But in general, if you have certain pain points on how you can convince, they can also be very different in different cases. So we nowadays have Mika, who is very very skillful in answering this kind of questions and helping. And so contact Mika Somela, and he can help you. And then René can jump in, or I can jump in if needed, and others. So, but anyway,
just write an email to executive director.
Yeah. So. If you have ideas, what can we give as a membership benefits, then let us know.
Yeah, just write an email to executive.director@robotframework.org, and Mika will have a call with you. He has time for that, and maybe also have a call with your manager, talking about your needs and what benefits it could bring. And I think there's an answer below there, free merch. I think that's a good point. You can get a 5,000 euro hoodie.
Ooh. Actually, I wanted to say the same thing like Pekka and René mentioned. If you are unsure how to sell it to your manager, just get him on call with our Mika, and he will get it done.
And it's not easy for big techs, for example, to join a foundation. So, I mean, let's just imagine you're working for Siemens. And can Siemens join a Finnish association? I don't know. But Siemens could, I don't know, maybe just buy 20 RoboCon online tickets or so. Still not going there, but just buying the tickets, still fine. So it's same amount of money. So you can also just support us by buying tickets, for example, as a loophole of like this joining situation.
So how can individuals contribute other than their time? Can they give money? Is there like an ambassador program or anything like that to help? Not necessarily part of the foundation, but maybe like a offshot of the foundation, like pay dues or something. You get some extra perks.
What we really don't want to have is like that we get 20 euro from one person. So honestly, you all that are members of the community is really helpful for us. Spreading the word is helpful. Please don't give us money. Yeah, the money shall come from the corporates. So that's definitely nothing that the private people should do. But you mentioned a buzzword there, the ambassador program, and that's something that we had on our roadmap this year. So we every end of the year or beginning of the next year, we are forging an action plan, and that action plan is stuff that we want to achieve in the year. And one of the action items on that plan is the ambassador program. And the ambassador program means actually spreading the word, like telling people about Robot Framework, maybe going to conferences. So if a company goes to a conference, or if you say, hey, I'm going to a meetup, I have a Python user group in my city, and I want to go to, let's say, this meetup and that meetup and that meetup. So like 3 meetups or so. Can you send me some merch? Then definitely we will send you a t-shirt that you can wear there, and maybe some stickers and so on, or so you can bring it there and spread it around. That doesn't mean that everyone who goes to a meetup get a free t-shirt from us, but it's the idea behind it. Like if you're active in the community, and if you want to be active also outside the community to inform other people about that, you can then become an ambassador. It's not yet kind of defined totally how we will do that. And there will definitely be 2 different aspects. The one aspect is having a community member becoming an ambassador. And the other aspect is like a company like Continero can be ambassador company that then goes to exhibitions and spin up a Robot Framework booth there and be there for community on these cool. Days.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, for example, something we do on QS in Germany, where we have just a Robot Framework booth, and we put 3 people there, and people who are using the tool can just ask them holes in the butt and get the great answers.
I would actually catch to this topic of the conference, because we are starting to get out there. Like already last year, we were in several conferences across the Europe, so you already could see the Robot Framework flag in several conferences. But this year we want to do much more, and also like René mentioned about the ambassador program. So we are thinking how to get the Robot Framework out there. So if you go to a testing conference, you won't get lost that the Robot Framework is not there. You'll find your home there. So we really want to be out there. We are sending the call for papers now this time, but also it's about the community. So anyone in any country, if you know about a testing conference, you have an interesting topic that you want to promote, just send the paper. And if you want, we can help you. We can get you prepared also to give the presentation, like we did for the Robot Framework in Helsinki. So really, if you're interested about this topic, about going to conferences, let us know, and we can help you.
Absolutely. And the Test Guild's always looking for speakers for our Automation Guild. So if you have any good robot framework sessions, send them our way as well. We'd love. I think it's something that the community needs to be exposed to.
We have to really talk a little bit, we too, about the dates you always pick.
Right. Yeah. So, you pick. I've been doing it first.
As for those who do not know, like Test Guild was again, unfortunately, parallel to the Helsinki RoboCon. Yeah. So it's always like early in the year, so we have to sync it a little bit better. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. All right.
Yeah, so, I can recommend. I was talking there ages ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You were the first speaker. One of the first speakers at the first event, 2017.
Yeah, something like that. So I can recommend it. And if you have a good topic for me, you think that your audience is interested, I definitely can also myself be back there speaking. So
awesome.
But let's talk. And I recommend for the whole community that if you're interested in what Joe is doing, try to go into his conferences or podcast and so on. He's doing a great job.
And I apologize. I wasn't promoting it. I was just trying to think of ways to contribute to RoboCon, as a
yeah. But it's
yeah. All right, cool. So good.
About the ambassador program still, so the details aren't, as René told, not really. We don't know the details yet. But if you find this interesting, then gather is already good time to chat with René or David or Mika. Possibly me as well. I don't know. I'm not on a board, so I don't know too much about that. But all the board members and so on. So if you're interested, you can basically sign up already now without knowing the details.
Nice.
Just sign up.
Right. Awesome. So good.
There was about this sponsoring, like individual people sponsoring the development. I agree with René that that's not something that we really need. But then again, we've had discussion that should we somehow allow individual people join the foundation? How would it work? But it's also kind of complicated. Now we have only organization as members, and it would kind of odd then if there would be like some organization that would also have 10 members or 100 members as individual members. I don't know if people are eager to join and have ideas how to make it work, then that's something that we can also consider in the future. But I don't think it's on the agenda for this year. There are this ambassador program, for example, that we are now planning and so on.
Before we go in the question, I want to add one thing about individuals helping.
Yeah.
And the one thing is giving reviews on tools or star projects. So go on GitHub, star robotframework.org. Go on github.com and or robotcode.io and check out Daniel's GitHub repository. Give a star to this awesome IDE. Market Square. There was another question in the Slido also. What is Market Square? So Market Square is a GitHub organization. So github.com/Market Square. There's a collection of a lot of robot framework projects. You can start a project there. Or what, for example, helps others to find great tools like Robot Code. If you go to the VS Code marketplace, so where you can see all the extensions, go to the Robot Code and leave a 5-star review. This is contribution. And some of these open source projects, like I know it from Daniel, for example, you can do sponsoring on GitHub. So on GitHub, you have there a sponsor button, and there you can just throw in €5 or something like this. And that piles up if many people do it. Unfortunately, until now, not many people have done that. But if you think that's awesome and you can afford €10 or something like this, buy Daniel coffee, throw this in. That is good invested money. Don't give it to us.
Love it. Yeah, I can almost see like Chris did online with their own RoboCon online. If they had little RoboCon guilds all over the place, you have a speaker come in and given that time to do it local, these little meetups would probably help with the awareness as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Next question. And what's the URL for Marketplace again? How do they get there?
GitHub.com/Market Square.
Market Square.
Yeah, it's not Marketplace, it's Market Square. Because it's what is the name of that Market Square thing in Helsinki, Pekka?
Kauppatori, but that's so Market Square is actual square in Helsinki. That's known to be a location where Finland wins something in ice hockey, not in football because we don't win anything in football, but in ice hockey we have won something. So and people all go there. It's like let's see at the Market Square in Finnish, like Torilla tavataan kind of thing. Maybe I heard that was Simpsons had in Finland or something from Finland like a few days ago. So that would be kind of close to be an event. And let's go there. So that's a good name by Ed. So of course it's kind of causing confusion because people are typically thinking about Marketplace, but this is actually Market Square, but it's the name of this actual square.
Awesome.
But it's basically it's a GitHub organization basically.
Okay.
What it basically is.
So AI, we talked a little bit about how it may be possibly added to robot framework or something. Any other use cases for it? Like, is it a test case generator? Do you see it like analyzing results? What are any use cases you may see applying
I think
AI?
David, you can say something about the healing selector stuff.
Oh, yeah. So actually in Helsinki on the workshops, we were doing this nice little integration with the robot framework that was using Selenium library. And we were using also the OpenAI. So we were directly connecting to ChatGPT with the paid version and also with the Jira. And during this integration, we actually let the test fail, one of the Selenium ones. So we changed a locator to be not found. And then during the execution, we had a listener. We asked the AI why this is failing, and if the AI can assist us into fixing this. And we did it in a way that we just sent the whole HTML file where the issue was with the failed locator. We gave it to the AI and asked, "Hey, can you help us?" And in many cases, it was able to find the proper locator, because finding the locator is the same process over and over again. So this is where the AI really shines into doing analysis, into doing summaries. So this is one of pretty nice examples how you can utilize AI really quickly. And we managed to do that in just a few hours with everyone. So really quick and neat trick to try. And about that summaries and analysis and about the testing results. So robot framework is all about making it presentable to the business or to the manual testers. But sometimes those errors that we get out of the logs are not really nicely readable, or the person that needs to understand that, yeah, they need some technical background. But with the AI, we can do the summary for this as well. So we can summarize the report, we can summarize the logs, we can also make the error log to be more efficient. We can include screenshots, and AI can also understand the screenshots. So,
and this is also not just possible like with OpenAI. So at Imbus, so my employer, we are working on a project, or it's already done, where we have a locally hosted LLM. So it has no connection to the cloud, and it's still analyzing the logs from a test automation, and then raising Jira issues and explicitly like describing and explaining the bug that happens there. So like describing the reproducibility of that, describing the effects, what's happening, and giving ideas what the cause could be. That is specifically trained, and we will also show that in, I think, April in Germany. Under, you can Google for trends in testing. It's a free roadshow where we talk about that. So if you're located in Germany, you may show up.
Nice. I was just looking to analyze results. If someone brought up reportportal.io earlier, there's actually an integration for Robot Framework. There's so many integrations, I don't know how to keep track of it. I just Googled Report Portal Robot Framework, and bam, there it is. So if anyone actually wants to check it out, they could do it now, I guess, with AI.
And you can see it, how it works live if you go to RoboCon.io from your ticket link. The first workshop that we had actually on Tuesday, Manny talked 2.5 hours about reporting, and he showed how to integrate Robot Framework with Slack and Teams, sending messages there, or using Allure reporting, and also showed how to display that stuff in Grafana and in Report Portal. So nice. He showed actually how the integration with Report Portal works, how you have to set it up, and so there you can get a hands-on example how to do that.
Those have been recorded and those are available.
Yeah, and they are available, and we will publish them, I think, also soonish publicly. And Report Portal has an AI that if an error or a similar error appears the same time, and you have already categorized or triaged these things in a certain manner, it will propose these triage then for the future for new things. Yep. And so there is already a machine learning involved, and they had it before OpenAI, so that's also something integrated there.
Absolutely. All right, great day 2 conference, awesome presenters. How can we get an opportunity to present our achievements using these excellent tools libraries from Robot Framework? Do you have any certifications that go out, after the event? Hey, you've been certified Robot Framework Fresh or something.
Okay, that's I'm not sure if that was mean, but if you want to have a participation certificate, of course you can have. But what I thought more like, how could we get the opportunity to present what we have achieved? Is more like, how can we show that also? Yep. Maybe that was the question.
So you're probably right there, not me.
We have once a month we have an open space. So every last Friday, I think, in the month, we have an open space that will also be in the future be live streamed to YouTube. And there we have then, for example, last time Ismo Aro, the kind of founder of the Robot Framework Foundation, had a presentation about energy consumption testing. So you're doing your test automation and you're testing and you check how much energy your tests cost and or your system costs, and if maybe performance improvements kick in or your CPU load goes up, you can verify those. And there would be a platform to show these things.
And of course, there's a new CFP, call for papers for new proposals at some point for the next RoboCons.
Someone else also asked about GatherTown. Is GatherTown just for these 3 days? Is it all year long? When you do the open space, is that a Zoom call or is it on Gather?
It's the open space would be a Zoom call. GatherTown theoretically is be there all the time. So you can, if you once have the link, you can go here, but typically it's not really used. It's free for up to 25 users. So you can just go here. You can use that link the next years. When we started the conference, we saw something like 20 people running around of the last year's RoboCon because it was different space.
Oh, right.
Because they wanted to preserve it. So, So GatherTown is there, but typically I would say so the open spaces are in Google Meet the past, and in the future it will be in Zoom.
How many people know how to get to the Slack channel? Is that something well known? Because
I mean, it's if you go to RoboCon, robotframework.org, and then you scroll down, you see under community, you see the Slack invite and the forum.
Okay.
So if you click there, you directly are on the invite mask and you type in your username. I mean, we have
20,000?
20,000 something. Yeah. We just hit the 20,000 mark
awesome.
The day before the on-site conference. So we are now at 20,846 members.
Wow.
So someone seems to find that button. So I would say.
Awesome. Mobile testing. Any plans around mobile testing?
Yeah, that's a thing. I would really. So we had the same situation with Selenium library. Like it grew over years, and we want to make some kind of a new start. Not to breaking it down or so, but making something fresh, making something modern. And I would actually like to make something with that Appium library as well. It kind of has aged. It's grown. I think there should be something new. The problem is like the time and the money you can spend there. So if anyone is willing to kind of really give some love to the Appium library, or making a new Appium library that really has some cool features or other technologies, we are totally in supporting that. But I think yes, mobile testing and specifically the heterogeneity of mobile, web, database, everything in one row is a unique selling point of Robot Framework. And I would love to see someone really actively maintaining that library, because I think it's key. Yeah.
I would say that if there is a new ecosystem project funding round and someone proposes either making new release of Appium library, making it alive again, or creating a new mobile testing library, that kind of project has very, very high success rate.
Yes.
It's likely that it's going to get some funding, but the foundation itself, I mean, the board is not there to do all this. We rely on community, and of course, sometimes, most of the time, these projects come from so that they are funded by companies people are working for or something like that. People need them for their own work and so on. But of course, as mentioned multiple times, foundation also tries to help funding if there are individual people working with this. So it would be nice to see something new in that area, but that will require community help.
All right, I know you covered new features, Robot Framework 7. People are, I guess, excited for Framework 8. Any updates or anything on your roadmap for what would be the next major release?
It's kind of now open, so not sure how well it's known, but I'm actually currently on paternity leave, so not working that actively. So the next major release we'll most likely start developing it next autumn. There's going to be at least one bug fix release relatively soon. There may be a feature release this before sometime in June or July possibly, and then I would assume that in August, when I'm also more actively back, we'll start thinking more about the next major release. We don't have any concrete plans yet, but I would assume that most likely in the next major release, we are going to look at keyword namespaces and possibly variable namespaces, and how when you import something in a resource file, when you import the library, where those keywords are seen. There's some of that current logic in Robot is kind of messed up, and then also we may also have something like private library imports or something like this. But we don't know yet. We don't yet know what exactly will be there. There was a question that can I influence? Well, that is of course. First of all, if there's some feature you think that would be useful, then first I think you should go and submit an issue about that. Make sure or check that if there is already an issue about that, and comment an existing issue if there is. Make a talk about the enhancement on the developer channel on Slack or some other channel, maybe here on Gather, maybe today or tomorrow in the open space. If there is enough need, we see that okay, this is actually really, really useful feature and many people will benefit, and then it's possible that we'll add it in the agenda and it will be implemented on basically on the funding from the Robot Framework Foundation. So I might be implementing with someone else. So that's possible. So that way you can do it. But if we agree that, well, it's useful feature, but not super important now, or we have other features that are more important, then if you want to actually influence and get it in, then the way is to provide a pull request, implement it yourself, or possibly if you're interested, sponsors development of that specific feature. So that's of course something we are always open. Foundation that if there's something you want that's not at the moment high priority for, otherwise you can sponsor that development of certain feature. But yeah,
and that's basically also the the next question, like can I purchase a new feature? So I mean the one thing is like taking influence by bringing up ideas or being involved in the discussions, like in the roadmap work group. You can just approach us and say, hey, I want to be part of it. And but the other thing is, how can I pay for it? So this question, I would say definitely yes. You can get any dumb or smart feature into Robot Framework as long as you throw enough money on it. Because even if we consider it's a dumb question, you can pay someone else to just make a fork of Robot Framework and implement it there. So any feature can be added. The question is, are you then on the main track still?
Gotcha.
But with good ideas, they are considered to be useful. It's similar to like paid software. If someone approaches me and I'm selling a paid software and say, I would like to have that feature, I would like to pay you for that. We are typically then considering, okay, is that new feature good for all of us? Or is it just like breaking 90% of our users and just suiting you? And in these cases, then we would obviously, independently how much you pay us, we would say no. But if it's a meaningful question where we can actually bring value to the bigger community, we are happy to take your money and implement that, buy Pekka or pay someone else, maybe from the former core team like Janne Härkönen or so, to implement that. So we have possibilities to scale there, even that Pekka is on paternity leave. And there were examples of that. For example, the RPA feature was added by external funding. And the if-else stuff were basically added by external funding. In those cases, or the if-else were, for example, funded by Robocorp. Also, the browser library, the first funding round came from them. So this is definitely possible. But please be aware that if we are considering to create too much friction with new features, we typically would not want to implement them.
Gotcha. Guys, we only have good.
Also, one thing is that we are more happy typically that if features can be added outside the core. So often if there's a new enhancement, then it might be that we instead see that, well, could we possibly add an API to make it possible to implement an external tool and try to keep the core somewhat lean? But so we are in general for the core, we are not going, even if you would be ready to pay for us, if we don't consider the enhancement useful for the wider community, it won't be added. But then in those cases also, we might be willing to add an API that makes it possible for you to implement a tool that provides the functionality and without having that particular feature in the core. But if you're interested, well, that's again something that Mika or René might probably the best person to contact, and me also, just for kind of an idea that what do we think about the feature that we see it's useful.
Absolutely. So we only have 3 minutes left. I thought we'd go around the room and just wrap things up with parting thoughts for the RoboCon and the folks that attended the event. So we'll start with David and then work our way up.
All right. So for me, like I said, the community is really everything, and I loved to meet the community again. It again gave me so many ideas to try, different kind of topics. I would love to also cooperate with Daniel Wheel. We were discussing how to bring AI into robot code, to have our personal GitHub Copilot. So again, many different ideas for the next year, and I'm really looking forward to be here next year with you all.
Awesome. Pekka? Or René, either one?
No. Pekka, go ahead. I wanted to say, Pekka, go ahead, please. That one.
Yeah. So, well, I don't think I have much new to say because I can say community and ecosystem once more because they are so awesome. But that's basically it's great to be deeply involved with all this in think about how some of these ideas that we get, what we can do in the core to make them possible, make new features possible and so on. But then it's what's kind of even cooler is then to see how when we've added something to the core, we've made something possible, how it's kind of start to blossom. We got new projects here and they're using those features. And Robot Framework 7 is, of course, so fresh that there couldn't be anything yet here. But I'm looking forward for next RoboCon, for example, to see what kind of interesting and crazy and so on ideas people have got for new listener API enhancements, for example, because there's a lot of that. It's so kind of open API that you can do so many different things with it. That I have some ideas what could be done, but you mix those ideas with AI, and I don't know, there might be something really strange.
Cool. And René,
thank you. I would really like to use that chance to send a big thanks out to all the people who have made that RoboCon possible. So that's all these participants, all these people who bought tickets. Honestly, without the ticket sales of RoboCon, we could not maintain the tool that good. So RoboCon is a very, very important. That was the cat.
Sorry.
And so
is that cat alive? Is that a real cat?
The cat behind David?
Yeah,
I think it's alive. Same as yours, right?
Yeah, but he looks like...
Right. There was a question for that. I saw that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I just noticed it. Sorry.
Okay. But no problem. So so RoboCon is a very vital part of our monetarization, our financing situation, and the RoboCon has so many segments. So it's you, the participants, who are bringing up all these feedback, all these ideas. I had in Helsinki, I had all these speakers on stage, and there were some online speakers there as well. I really have to send a big thank you to all the speakers. We had so many great proposals that we could now have a full on-site RoboCon with 2 days and a full online RoboCon with super new talks, and this is really awesome. It's really like touching my heart how active the people are, how much they invest, and I really like that community, and I'm so happy to be part of it, and to be maybe also a player here, motivating other people to contribute. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I loved it. It seemed a little more diverse this time as well, with the speakers, the topics. I thought it was really, really good. So kudos to you for going through all the call for speakers to get a good lineup.
Actually, that's maybe one point that I want to add. So I sent that also in my kind of Christmas message to the community. There's so much going on in the world with like hate or separation of people. Maybe it helps the anonymity that we have in our community, that you don't know necessarily which color someone has or gender or whatever. But even if people are publicly showing their origin or their gender or so, I have never experienced in our community any kind of hate or anger or so. And we also want to become more diverse, because just by the fact who we are, what we are doing, we know that we have a big majority of for example, male participants in our community, and we really want to integrate any kind of minorities in our system. We want to encourage people who are maybe not the eagerest alpha male person jumping on stage. So we want to ask people that we know that are active, like, for example, Stavrola. She's active in the community, super smart person, and helping in the community as well. So we kind of said, come on, now go on stage, tell your story. Yeah, that's interesting. That's encouraging others. And we actively also, for example, there's a group in Helsinki. I know I'm overtaking now the time, but there's a group in Helsinki, Mimit Koda, who is dedicated to support women in tech. And we have one of the RoboCon Orga team members, Jenna, who is also a key player in Mimit Koda. And Jenna is also part of the RoboCon Orga team, and she has so important role in that group that we are so happy that we got her feedback, that we got her influence about what we may be also doing wrong from our point of view, because we are on the one side of the window, and so it's so important to get that feedback, to get that support, and therefore I'm super thankful that Jenna is there, that Jenna gives us the feedback, that she also sometimes just decide, no, let's not do that, and we all then say, okay, you decided, we are not doing that.
Right.
Oh, I got that's my after party.
Oh,
beer.
Nice.
Fresh.
Were you drinking wine too earlier?
No, I was not. No, that was a Coke.
Okay, I was like, oh, he's already starting early. All right.
So don't drink. I don't want to encourage public alcohol.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I want to appreciate you all really making this an awesome event. Thank you. It was an honor to host it. So thank you all so much for joining us and making this all happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And see you all tomorrow in Gathertown.
All right. Thanks again. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. What an event. But hey, as I mentioned, it's not over. So I want to thank you all for joining, for making the past 2 days awesome. But it's not over. So make sure to join tomorrow in Gathertown for the Unconference. I think it starts at 11. I don't know what time, what the time zone. I think it's GMT. So 11 GMT, and a big round of applause for all the great speakers we had today and yesterday. And, they spent a lot of time preparing and joining us. So if you see them in Gathertown, show them some love, buy them a virtual beer. Big shout out to our sponsors. Big love to our sponsors. We want to thank them for all they do as well. sponsors. And big shout out to you. Thank you for all your questions, all your participation. That's what makes this event awesome. And that's why it makes it a pleasure and honor for me to host this event, because this community is awesome. So a special thanks to the entire RoboCon team for organizing this event. And once again, it's been an honor to host RoboCon 24. And let's keep the conversation going in GatherTown, in the virtual world. In Beer Beer, we'll have a virtual beer sauna. And hope to see you all here next year. And once again, thank you once again. As always, test everything to keep the good. Check you out next time. Cheers.